Going out to celebrate life, having a drink with friends, spending time with family, or seeing your favorite singer live. These are pleasures that are part of everyday life for Latin Americans. Joy, excitement, and the desire to show off our Caribbean identity are deeply rooted in the DNA of each of us. And it's through music, dance, and the voices of great stars that we make our presence felt in the world. Our spirit, until recently, seemed unbreakable. However, on April 8th, 2025, a cruel twist of fate, an unfortunate event, silenced not only the laughter, dreams, and voices of more than 100 people. That day, music turned into panic, fear, and despair. That day, we witnessed how the jet set experienced its last dance. Hundreds of people gathered at the famous Jet Set nightclub to have fun that night. But no one could have possibly expected that they were about to experience one of the absolute worst tragedies, not only within the Dominican Republic, but also throughout the entire region. A truly devastating tragedy that even made its way onto the infamous list of the worst nightclub disasters in the entire world.
Cayó una pelea, no sé. Ah, se cayó algo de arriba, ¿ves? Se cayó algo de allá en el techo, mira. Ah, me cambian la mano. Mira la gente grabando. Mira la gente grabando.
¿Qué te pasó? Papá, ¿qué te pasó? Tranquilo. Respira el paso. No, compadre. Tranquilo. Hay corriente aquí. Sí. ¡Abran por aquí!
More than 235 individuals tragically lost their lives, and nearly 300 others sustained various injuries after the entire roof of this popular nightclub suffered a catastrophic and complete collapse. This devastating incident occurred precisely at 12:44 in the early morning hours on Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. In a single second, everything went from lights, partying, and merengue to darkness and cries for help. Not only was the loudest voice in merengue silenced, but two legends of Dominican baseball were lost. Octavio Dotel, who played in the major leagues for 13 different teams, setting a record as the baseball player who has played for the most teams in MLB. Among them were the New York Mets, the Houston Astros, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Detroit Tigers, among others. Tony Blanco also passed away, another major leaguer who started with the Boston Red Sox. He later moved in 2002 to the Cincinnati Reds, where he was awarded the League Performance Award. In addition, Nelcy Milagros Cruz passed away. She had served as governor of the Dominican province of Montecristi since 2020. Also, fashion designer Martin Polanco, known for his sophisticated take on the classic Guayabera and for bringing a Caribbean flair to red carpets and presidential wardrobes, dressing even artists like Daddy Yankee. Others who lost their lives include Christian Alejandro Tejeda, Director of Urban Infrastructure for the National District, and Luis Solis, known as Chitzon, saxophonist for Rubby Perez. But even though these names are making the headlines,
A race against time is underway after part of the roof collapsed at a popular nightclub in Santo Domingo. Yes, at the time of the collapse, there were hundreds of people inside while the popular Dominican merengue singer Rubby Perez was performing.
Collapsed on concertgoers in the Dominican Republic.
Esta tragedia que lamentablemente está azotando a República Dominicana.
Lorsqu'une panne de courant interrompt le concert de Rubby Perez,
they are just some of those hundreds of precious souls, each a unique individual that mothers, their beloved children, devoted fathers, cherished siblings, and loyal friends will forever and always carry deeply within their hearts, a lasting legacy of love and remembrance. Grief profoundly overwhelmed entire families who were left utterly devastated by the sudden and tragic death of their beloved loved ones, who, on a day just like any other ordinary day, had simply gone out to have some fun at a lively musical show that was prominently headlined by Rubby Perez and his talented band. They performed a famous and extensive repertoire, but they never truly imagined that the very last song to play and for the enthusiastic crowd to dance to would be Color de Rosa. A lot of information was circulating on social media while the Dominican Republic, a country of cheerful, fun-loving, kind, and supportive people, longed for answers amid the confusion that grew by the minute. Thousands of people were searching for detailed information about what had happened. One of them was Zelinka Perez, who, even though she was at the epicenter of the tragedy, knew what had happened to her father, and this was the first hypothesis she shared before the authorities made any official statement.
He's injured, but he's alive. They found him singing. He started singing so that people would hear him.
But the reality was different. Hours later, a video circulated widely on social media showing Zelinka reacting emotionally to the news that her father had died instantly. To her, he was truly more than just her father. He was her very best friend. But it wasn't just Zelinka. Hundreds of people in Santo Domingo were receiving some of the worst news of their lives. The clock kept ticking. Many people were patiently waiting for a representative from the nightclub to finally show up at the scene and give some explanation about exactly what had happened.
There are no words to express the pain caused by this event. What happened has been devastating for everyone. As the Jet Set family, we stand with you. To all of you, mothers, fathers, siblings, children, and loved ones of those affected, you have our support. Everything we do now, every decision, every step, has a single purpose: to be worthy of your pain and to stand by you.
The Jet Set Club nightclub was known as a cultural icon of Santo Domingo, one of the favorite spots for nightlife lovers throughout the Dominican Republic. A meeting and entertainment spot that has been visited by both national and international artists for over 50 years. But today, it stands as a symbol of pain. Initially, the nightclub operated as a cinema starting April 6, 1973. It became the Jet Set nightclub in 1994 and was renovated in 2010 and 2015. With two-story high ceilings over a spacious open dance floor, it could hold 1,000 people standing and 700 seated. A restaurant and nightclub that welcomes celebrities and important figures from the country. But in 2023, it suffered a major fire after lightning struck a generator on the roof. Firefighters considered it structurally safe, or so they thought. Now, the roof collapse in 2025, which claimed the lives of more than 230 people, turned it into a place associated with pain and loss. Minutes later, around 100 calls began to flood the National Emergency and Security Attention System 911, reporting the total collapse of the roof at Jet Set nightclub, located on Independencia Avenue. Immediately, about 77 ambulances arrived at the scene first, 8 units from the National District Fire Department, 30 rescuers from Civil Defense, 200 members of the National Police, 50 rescuers from the Armed Forces, and 7 units from the General Directorate of Traffic and Land Transport Security, all equipped with detection dogs, cranes to remove debris, and other essential equipment to rescue as many people alive as possible.
You have to take the people past the gas station. Please, please.
Look, young man, do your job.
By 1:30 in the morning, all the security agencies had managed to pull some of the injured out from the rubble. And at 5 in the morning, the Dominican Republic woke up to uncertainty and sadness upon receiving the news. On the 3rd day, hopes of finding survivors gradually faded and the body recovery phase of the operation officially began.
Today we finished the most difficult task I've had in 20 years at the head of the operations center. We were filled with a profound sense of helplessness, knowing that many people were still trapped and we still hadn't been able to reach them at all, despite our best efforts.
Little by little, those affected by this disaster were identified and their nationalities revealed. Most of the deceased, of course, were Dominicans, but the second country with the most injured people was Venezuela. The volunteers remember hearing people calling for help under the rubble and worked tirelessly to assist them. Some managed to survive to tell their story.
La otra mano. Está bien. Dale, ok, perfecto. Mira. Vamos a tratar de mover esta piedra. Esa grandota. Sí. Vamos a hacerlo, vamos a hacerlo, vamos a hacerlo, vamos a hacerlo.
We're going through a transition. What we went through was not easy. I'm trying to heal so I can get back to my life.
But I couldn't feel my legs. I honestly thought I was going to be paralyzed. However, I'm not.
But unfortunately, 15 fellow countrymen lost their lives at the site. Meanwhile, on the other side of the security tape, families waited for news of their loved ones, clinging to hope.
Keep
Keep searching for the one who's down there in jet set. Keep looking for her because she's alive. In the name of Jesus, she's alive. Because my heart tells me she's alive. Because if she's not here, she's not in any morgue. She's alive in the name of Jesus.
The relatives who were in Venezuela at the time of the tragic event had to wait for almost a full week for the Dominican Republic authorities to officially announce the necessary measures that would make it easier to arrange the transfer of the bodies to their places of origin. Among them was the Corrales family, who sadly said goodbye to two of their beloved daughters, Barbara and Olayan, natives of the Torres municipality in Lara State.
Like I told you, 50 or 100 years could go by, and this feeling will never truly go away from me. I must tell my beloved daughters that this is a profound and lasting experience, and I will always love them.
Pain knows no borders. While devastating chaos reigned in the Dominican Republic and uncertainty spread after the collapse of the jet-set roof. Here in Venezuela, specifically in Lara, a state well known for its vibrant music, there were families who were trying to adapt to their painful new reality. Among them was Rubby Perez, father of Barbara and Olayan, two sisters who were victims of the tragedy. The Venevision news team traveled to the Torres municipality in Lara State to learn their story. A phone call that changed his life.
I left church convinced that I needed to talk to Barbara that morning. It's incredible. That's the feeling I had when I left church. I got to the office. It was already 11:30. I went up to my room and checked social media. And I see that they're at the July party. And I told them, you guys are something else. You have to work tomorrow, and look where you are. We're at a little girl's birthday party. And then the 5 cups show up. 5 died. I found out because my son, who's in the United States, works until 3 in the morning. Then he goes out to work in package delivery, and I see him online and I call him. That's the time I can talk to him. I see his face is red and I ask, what's wrong? He says, Dad, I'm going to tell you. Rubby Perez's party. Someone fell through the roof, not me. That's what he told me. I didn't know. As the hours passed, imagine they took her to a center. They're operating on her. The TV says that. They rescued her, and they're alive. It's honestly like being on a roller coaster ride. Whenever they give me the very first report, basically when the guys who are actually here with me right now tell me about it, you know? I don't know. I felt so bad I didn't wake up for the second one. Like a Chinese of a lifetime. It was a really tough moment, and more. 10 hours. Hours went by, my heart kept shrinking. Like the box today. Imagine sitting seat. Ask God. Let's make a deal. Just picture me asking God to negotiate. I was so bold, but that was the moment. Said, if what? Don't take both of them. Leave me one. Let's make a deal. Just imagine me putting God in that situation. They both died. Said, you won. I told God, you won, so let your will be done. When a whole town is involved with my daughters were beautiful. Not just physical. They were good people, caring, loving, generous. When someone's sick, we give food and oil. My uncle is sick. What do we do about my uncle? You were like that. Beautiful. And I said to him, God, is that why you took them? Because you fell in love with my daughters? And you won. You won it. But there are no do-overs. My 8th brother is happy and has always been well. He has given me a lot of support. My siblings and I told him, brother, I want to die. Honestly, it hurts. And when I was talking to God, when I dared to truly confront him and sincerely pleaded for forgiveness, in that moment, my brother, in his own words, said to me, brother, that's just how things are. Let's say God accepts your proposal. Let's put it this way. He says to you, this is Holly, this is Barbara. Choose one. With your children, are you going to be able to? That's it.
There was a reality, and it wasn't going to change. Daddy's girls were gone. But Mr. Kirals has a different hypothesis from what the pathologist said.
The pathologist says the girls died instantly. But there's an audio where you can hear Barbara calling out to both Eugenia. Calling her like that, loudly, in the darkness, people trapped under the rubble, and the voice was Barbara's. Then Clarita joined in. It was Eugenia. So, I don't know, and I ask myself, how did she do it? Why didn't she get to safety? Why? Did she have to go if she's alive? Maybe. I don't know. Can't explain. The ending had to be this way. There's nothing left to prove. There was negligence both from the owner of the place and from the government. Where were the annual inspections that are supposed to be done? Here, the fire department inspects you, and if things aren't up to code, you can't open. Where are the people responsible for that? Let justice be served. It's not just about my 2 daughters. More than 200 people are mourning their families, too.
And she also gave some thoughtful, supportive advice for parents around the world.
You have to take your child where they are loved. That's the lesson this is going to leave us. Don't stop hugging them. Don't stop kissing them, telling them I love you, telling them what they mean to you. But this story has left a mark on me. Honestly, I have to live with this for the rest of my life. Like I told you, 50 or 100 years could go by and this will never go away from me. Tell my daughters that I will always love them, no matter what. Porque morir con Rubby Perez.
As Mr. K. Rao said, to die with Rubby Perez, an international artist who was just like any other Venezuelan. And this is his story. Roberto Antonio Perez Herrera was a young man who was born in Bajos de Jaina on March 8, 1956. He dreamed of becoming a baseball player, but
I couldn't become a baseball player because when I was 15, I had a really bad accident.
It seemed like the end of his goals and dreams.
My problem is here in my knee, the leg I broke 3 times, femur, tibia, and scapula. For those who think it's a prosthesis, no, it's flesh and bone. I have a permanent injury in my knee.
But God, in whom he always held such strong faith, had his destiny written to be the most powerful voice in merengue.
Y hazme olvidarla, por favor, hazme olvidarla. Hazme sentir que no es la única mujer. Borra sus huellas de mi mente, de mi alma. Arráncala de mi piel y hazme olvidarla para siempre, hazme olvidarla. Llené el vacío que dejó en mi corazón. Un aguijón con otro dicen que se saca. Hazme olvidarla con tu amor. ¡Qué lindo!
There was his grandmother who gave him what would become his stage name, the one he was called by for 5 decades on the most important stages in Latin America and around the world. Inés Antonio Luzardo, who died in October 2022 from breast cancer, was the love of his life. For 48 years, they shared everything and had 4 children, Yulia Alberto, Zulinka, Yusoka, and Rub Mario. Although from extramarital relationships, 3 more children were born, Cassie, Brian, and Anna, with whom he shared a touching moment on Friday, March 21st, 2025, at her 15th birthday party, where she sang live with her father, totally and completely live. It was one of the most talked about moments on social media.
Vayas de
He joined Wilfrido Vargas's orchestra during the 1980s, where he made hits like El Africano, Volveré, Las Avispas, Cuando Estés con Él, and Cobard, Popular, among many others. Since his solo debut in 1987, he produced hits like Buscando tus besos, Dame Veneno, Enamorado de ella, Hais me olvidarla, Sobreviver, among other songs that left a mark on everyone who listened to him and was a fan of merengue, and still are to this day. Con éxitos en las listas on the Billboard charts. His self-titled album, Rubby Perez, spent 2 weeks on the tropical chart, reaching number 15, and his song, Enamorado de ella, climbed to number 29 on the Latin charts. During his remarkable 50-year career, he was recognized at the Cassandra Awards in the Dominican Republic. Of course, in Venezuela, he won gold and platinum records in 1988 with his very first solo album, a truly significant achievement. He also received 2 Globo Awards, which are considered important honors in the music industry, for Best Song and Album of the Year. Yet, despite these significant recognitions, there was one award that, in his own words, was the most special to him.
Listen to it so you can take it with you to Santo Domingo. The audience here in the plaza is now asking for the silver orchid.
The day I won my first silver orchid in Maracaibo, when Gilberto said, "Does he deserve the orchid? Yes or no?" And the crowd stood up and I saw it. It was the first time I had ever seen such a huge sea of people, and everyone was saying, yes, 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 orchid, orchid. That day, I took home 2 orchids. And honestly, that was one of the most powerful emotions I've ever felt. All the awards and everything I've achieved, and I have your orchestra throughout this country that loves me so much, Venezuela. Soon I'll be Venezuelan too, Dominican Venezuelan. May God bless you all. Thank you all. Thank you. Gilberto, Maracaibo, Venezuela. We all love you.
He showed his love for our country on the last night of his life. But that love comes from a long and meaningful history in the halls of Venevision, a place filled with memories and tradition, just as he himself expressed so sincerely in Studio One during his appearance on Sábado Sensational.
I remember that on a very popular Venezuelan television show called Sábado Sensational, there was a host on that show named Amador Bandean, and when he heard me sing Volveré, he generously gave me some valuable prime time on the show, right at the very height of its popularity, and said, "I want you to say with your voice, with that same voice you used to sing Volveré, say Sábado Sensational continues." That sealed the deal for Venezuelans to love me just as much as any Venezuelan artist.
And it's going to be more beautiful now, Rubby. As a Sábado Sensational star, you're getting emotional. We're asking for it here, for Rubby Perez.
How beautiful. Welcome to Venezuela. It's truly a pleasure to have you with us.
Rubby Perez live.
Tómame en tus brazos, embriágame de amor y llena mis sentidos de ti. Pon tu boca pequeña dentro de la mía y dame un beso sin fin. Quítame el aliento del tanto amar y amar, y no me dejes pensar, echa fuera de mi pecho este amor que aún le tengo.
Many of the victims' family members and relatives expressed that the Dominican Republic was not adequately prepared for a catastrophe of such magnitude. And the truth is, no one would ever expect something like this to happen. But outside the morgue, what you could hear was,
"If they're not going to convict him, then let the world have him.
And they have to give him to us today, for God's sake."
Like today.
For God's sake!
Talking?
The government should have just said, hand those people over. That's it. They don't know they died. Need an autopsy.
Collapse. Blunt force trauma.
9/7/17. Brian Mateo, my dearest friend.
They gave her the body last night. Today I run into her here, and she tells me they gave her a relative that wasn't hers.
Everyone feels same pain, or pain of rich stronger.
Please, Mr. President, please help us, please. We're really desperate.
Second by second, scenes full of anguish, desperation, and helplessness were unfolding among the hundreds of people who were present, all longing to say goodbye to their loved ones, while the authorities worked tirelessly day and night, without rest to respond to each and every citizen.
Here they used to do 4 or 5 daily autopsies, but now they were doing 30, 40, 45, 50. No pathology institute can handle so many bodies so quickly.
On April 10th, 2025, the Eduardo Brito National Theater became the setting for an emotional posthumous tribute, where family members, friends, government officials, and admirers gathered to honor the memory of Rubby Perez, whose remains rested in an urn draped with 2 flags, that of the Dominican Republic and that of her beloved Venezuela. His iconic glasses and signature hat were also present, of course. It was a difficult moment when his daughters decided to sing one last time in front of their father's body.
Caminemos siempre juntos, que a donde vayas te llevo. Si la vida nos separa, yo te prometo. Cuando se ama al final siempre siente, se nota un frío, un vacío tan triste, como en un film que adivina la escena cuando se va.
Wilfrido Vargas, Juan Luis Guerra, and Eddie Herrera were present at the funeral. Meanwhile, on social media, Mark Anthony, Olga Tanyan, Elvis Crespo, Bad Bunny, Daddy Yankee, Venezuelans Oscar de Leon, Karina, and Jonathan Molly, among many other stars, expressed their sorrow over the passing of an artist whose voice will echo forever anywhere in the world. The funeral of former Major League Baseball pitcher Octavio Dotel was held at the Jardin Memorial Funeral Home, located on 27 De Febrero Avenue in Santo Domingo. The ceremony officially began at 3 in the afternoon and lasted until 9 at night on Wednesday, April 9th, and continued the following day, once more from 9 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. An hour later, the body was laid to rest while family members, friends, sports figures, and fans who had followed him throughout his career said their goodbyes through tears. República Dominicana. The Dominican Republic bid a final farewell to many of its sons and daughters in different parts of the country. Entire families buried their loved ones who once said, "I'm going to jet set. Tomorrow, I'll tell you how the party was." Wanting to live a dream night that ended up turning into a nightmare.
Ay, me dijiste sí, oh, mami. Dios te bendiga, mi amor. Ay, sí, oh, mami. Dios te bendiga. Vete con Dios. Ay, por eso me besaste la mano 2 veces. Ay, porque sabía que no volvería, mi amor. Ay, sí, mami, se imaginaba eso, que te deja salir, mi amor. Ay, mi cielo. Ay, mi hija.
Lo que se suponía. What was supposed turned out to be true. Complaints started being filed in Dominican courts demanding that responsibility be determined. What is certain is that, regardless of the results of the investigations and these proceedings, and irrespective of any findings or conclusions that may eventually be reached, nothing will ever truly be able to ease, lessen, or diminish the profound and enduring pain, sorrow, and sense of loss experienced by all those families. These are families who have suffered an unimaginable tragedy. More than 230 lives came to an end on April 8th, 2025. But their memory will remain alive among family, friends, and acquaintances, no matter where they are. The world will not forget what happened in a Latin American nightclub that, for more than 50 years, was a place of fun for locals and visitors alike, but in 2025 became the dance floor where many had their last stand.
Su último baile.